Welcome to another episode of Transform Perspective with Kyrah. Thank you so much for joining me this episode. I brought my water this time. I've really been trying to stay hydrated and get my 40 ounces like I've mentioned in past episodes. I know that I've been drinking tea, but it's either going to be tea or water. On special occasions, it may be like coffee or something, but tea and water is what we're working with. Stanley here, not sponsored, but definitely recommend. I like Stanley. I like Stanley cups. The only thing I don't like is when it leaks out of the top if it's, sideways. Anyways, hydrate. Drink you some water today. That's what I'm going to be drinking to get through this episode because I have a lot that I want to discuss and talk about. But before we get into that, please make sure to subscribe and make sure that you follow on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, and even follow on TikTok because I post shorts there. A lot of it has to do with transform perspective in this content, or it's just kind of like food for thought. Can't even get it out right. Food for thought type of videos and things like that. So definitely check it out. On TikTok, there usually is different stuff on there. So definitely subscribe and follow. And yeah, today we are getting into healing with self-compassion, which is a big one, which is something that I'm still learning. But we're going to get into it. I think I've discussed this in the past, but we're going to talk about it a little bit more and what I've learned thus far. So yeah, growing up as a kid, my favorite rule, especially when you had to do like the class social contract. I don't know if y'all remember those, but when you had to do the class social contract, you had to like write out the rules that you were going to follow as a class. And then you all signed it at the end and put your signature. And it was like a social contract. And then anytime, someone got in trouble, the teacher will refer to, you remember what you signed on the, social contract? It really was like a get back at you because it's like you said you're going to do all these things, and throughout the year, the teacher held you accountable for it, and she'll refer, or he would refer to the social contract that you signing saying, "Hey, I'm gonna do this." So I'm bringing that up because my favorite rule growing up was the golden rule, and that was treat others how you want to be treated. In every class, that was the first thing I said. I'm like, ooh, treat others how you want to be treated. Golden rule, like, period. We know that one. And so that is so important because that is a big lesson in life, is treating other people how you want to be treated. But what I've learned since I've last, touched base on this topic and I'm learning about self-compassion, I've learned that you want to treat yourself how you want other people to treat you as well. You want to treat yourself how you're worthy of being treated, and how you deserve to be treated, despite if someone else treats you that way or not. So really looking at, how do I deserve to be treated? A lot of times we will treat other people nicer than we treat ourselves. So if you're that person where you are constantly giving yourself to others more than you're giving yourself, you could look at, how can you treat yourself how you are treating other people? Sometimes we're nicer to other people. We're more patient. We give them chances after chances in many different scenarios. We do things for other people that we wouldn't even do for ourselves. And it's like, why not? For others, it may be flipped, we may be so focused on ourselves and not giving that back to others. But when we're talking about self-compassion, it's really treating yourself like you're worth, like you deserve, like you should be treated, and like you would want someone else to treat you. So if you are constantly in your head, downing yourself, really being hard on yourself, would you want somebody else to treat you like that? Would you want someone to disrespect you? Would you want someone to ignore you? Would you want someone to, not see your worth and see who you are and care for you and be gentle and patient with you? So that's kind of why I took that golden rule and kind of flipped it to, treat other people how you want to be treated, but treat yourself how you want other people to treat you, and how you're worthy of being treated, like I said, regardless. Because other people may not treat you in the way that you, feel like you deserve. But if you're showing up for yourself in that way and you're treating yourself in the way that you deserve, you're not going to be so caught up on other people, and you'll know how to have those healthy boundaries when you're put in situations like that. But you can tell, and you may see this, within yourself or with other people, where you may see people in situations and circumstances where they let people run all over them, or they let people do them dirty or treat them any kind of way. And it's like, well, why would you let somebody treat you that way? Because you treat yourself that way and you may not see it, or you haven't set those healthy boundaries, or you're not showing yourself that self-compassion that you probably really need, making sure that you're focusing on your self-worth, what you're deserving of, and being patient and kind with yourself. So yeah, it's a big thing because, as I always say, it starts within and it starts with you. And we can say that so much, but it's like you have to really put it into practice, put it into motion, actually do these things, practice these things in your day-to-day life. And for me, it's been just starting with being kind to myself and being more patient with myself. I've noticed a lot of pressure that I put on myself, even if it's in small ways. A lot of times we don't see it. But for example, with your thoughts, I love sticky notes and love to make lists and organize and stuff. And since I was younger, it's always been very much so. I like things in order, and I find some comfort in organizing or cleaning or just having things kind of be my way in a sense. And so if I have a whole list of things, I'm like, I'm gonna get this, and this done. I don't realize that I'm putting so much on myself, but at the end of the day, if I don't get those things done, sometimes I'll notice that I'm like, okay, like I did nothing today, or, this idea of you're not good enough, or, oh man, you should have did this and you should have did that. You should have got it all done, and being just putting so much pressure on yourself. And it's like, that's not going to help you. It's not going to help you get those things done by being so hard on yourself. And so that was something that I noticed. With something as small as making lists and like day-to-day tasks, where if you don't get the task done, you don't have to be hard on yourself. Instead of focusing on what you didn't get done, also recognize what you did get done. I realize that I do actually do a lot, and sometimes that doing is actually too much. Sometimes we can be doing so much, but not getting anything done or doing anything at all that's actually productive for us. Sometimes it's okay to just sit and relax and woo-saw for a second. Actually being still and doing nothing is one of the most productive things that you can do. You allow yourself to just rest and reset. And so I'm learning that, to have compassion and not run yourself ragged because you're trying to do so much or be so much or become so much. When it's not always necessary. So having that self-compassion to be like, okay, I'm allowed to rest. I'm allowed to be still. I'm allowed to, like I'm giving examples of being hard on yourself and putting pressure on yourself. You're allowed to do that too. You're allowed to forget how deserving and worthy you are. You're allowed to beat yourself up sometimes. It's not that you want to do that or you want to treat other people in that way, but sometimes we forget. Sometimes we get stuck in these cycles and we have to learn how to go about things a new way. And so having compassion for yourself, even when you don't realize these things, you don't see them, or you do see them and you still do them, you make mistakes, or just being able to care for yourself, show up for yourself, love yourself, and forgive yourself despite the things that you've done or been through or didn't see. I talk about a variety of different things on Transform Perspective, from self-awareness and, compassion and love and care and different habits that we have. And, all things related to mental well-being, spiritual well-being, physical, emotional, so on and so forth. And really looking at how our perspective can change throughout our life as we learn and grow. And, it helps us embody who we truly are and become who we are. And so it's like, through everything that I discuss, it's important to have self-compassion with everything, whether it's something mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, financial, relational, any area of your life. It is good to have that self-compassion, because if you are difficult, if you're tough on yourself, just like if someone is very tough on you, it's so much pressure and you end up not being able to do your best or even want to show up for yourself, because it's like, what's the point? You may look at it as like you're failing or it won't work. And so you just go into this spiral of just like, ugh. So yeah, having self-compassion in every area of your life, each and every day, is super significant. To learn how to treat yourself well, I think we have a lot of expectations of how other people should treat us, especially when you're looking at topics of like, business, career, in the workplace, or family, friends, or even with dating, or even just like the environment. We have all these expectations or saying how somebody should treat you or how things should be. And it's just like, do you do that for yourself? I'm not saying that, you shouldn't treat people with kindness and respect and be mature. And, you don't deserve, these different things that you want, but you also have to look at, are you allowing yourself to be open to receive these things? And are you treating yourself with the same love, care, and respect? You really have to kind of like hold yourself accountable and look in the mirror and say, well, am I doing this for me? I want this person to treat me this way. And, I have all these expectations and high priorities and things that I want happening. And that's amazing. But you also have to hold yourself accountable and say, okay, well, am I doing this for me as well? And I think that's the real deal, when you can look yourself in the mirror and like check yourself, not in a punishing, judgmental, you're a horrible person way. It's just being real with yourself. You have to be real with yourself. And I think through self-compassion, you can really do that. You can be real with yourself, honest with yourself, and honest with others. And in the midst of that, you heal, you mature. You're able to maybe get past things you weren't able to get past, or have a new perspective or open mind or open heart, and end up creating a new life for yourself just through being compassionate. We all need it, and we are all so complex, so different, in different places in our lives and stuff, and we all see the world through our own unique lens. And so being able to have that compassion for yourself and one another is huge, because that's how we coexist on a planet like this, and work together, and can work together and get to a space of doing that, especially when we look at a world where we may mostly see, people killing each other and hurting each other and treating each other with no compassion and respect and love. And that's because they're not treating themselves with that respect and compassion and love. They're not being self-compassionate. And so it's reflected in this world, it's reflected in our physical world, where we can see these things play out, because it's self-hate. It's you not holding yourself accountable, you not healing your wounds, you not looking at yourself, and being patient and loving and kind and compassionate. Because if you were doing that for yourself, you wouldn't even think to hurt somebody else. You wouldn't even think to hurt the planet and do all these things. So it really goes back to perspective and reflection, and it really just starts with you. And so, since we're talking about self-compassion, some of the ways that you can practice this is, first, focusing, being aware of how you talk to yourself. The thoughts in your mind that come up, like I said, for example, when I'm making a list of what to do, if I don't get to everything, a good example of that, like I said, is to, pay attention to what comes up. By the end of the day, if you're looking at that list and you didn't finish everything, what are those thoughts that's popping up? It doesn't have to be for a to-do list, but anything. Just be aware of what your mind is telling you about yourself. Okay. And then from there, ask yourself, is this how I would want someone else to talk to me? Or ask yourself, is this benefiting me to treat myself this way? You can also reflect and look around at your surroundings, the people that you're around, the environments that you're in. Does that reflect who you truly are and, where you want to be? If it doesn't, it's okay, but it's okay to just be aware of it. And I think a lot of times we can get caught up in trying to change ourselves so much and trying to heal ourselves and like forcefully doing it. It's nothing that you actually have to like try and do. It just happens. And I think when you learn to love yourself and just be patient and kind with yourself, it can happen. And I know we say self-love and love yourself, and it's like, what does that even mean? For me, I feel like self-compassion and loving yourself is being patient with yourself, caring for yourself despite your faults, despite your mistakes, just really knowing that you're worthy and deserving. And no matter what you do or what you go through, allowing yourself to receive that love and care and patience from others, other opportunities, realizing that you're worthy of good things and treating yourself like you would treat other people, like you would care for a loved one or a friend or a pet. How you give so much love and attention and care to other people and things. Give that to you first. Because if you're not giving that to you first, you're not going to have enough time, energy, and attention to give it to other people. You're going to be so run down and exhausted or so grumpy and angry because you're not prioritizing yourself and just being kind to yourself. It's okay that we trip up. It's okay that we make mistakes. It's okay that we may not know where we're going, what we're doing, and may not realize and be aware all the time. It is okay. Like, that is a part of being human. And so I think, like I said, focusing on your thoughts is a great way of practicing self-compassion, looking at how do you talk to yourself, and then talking to yourself in new ways. Of course, it may seem corny at first because if you're so used to talking to yourself or showing up for yourself in certain ways, when you switch it up, it may feel a little weird. But you can try listening to music that's very encouraging, affirmations. Check out some of my affirmations that I have, positive affirmations that you can say in the car, in the mirror. Sing a song that you really like to yourself in the mirror. Write yourself a love note or something, like, or really get creative, really get corny, and do what warms your heart and what makes you feel good, even if it is a little weird, So that's the first thing, or second thing. I'm just throwing things out there. Another way you could practice self-compassion is slowing down and really nurturing yourself, doing things that you like to do as a child. I think that's a great way to have self-compassion, because I think when we get caught up in, as growing and aging and stuff, especially being a quote unquote adult, I think we sometimes can forget what we like to do as a kid and what really warmed our heart and help us connect with ourselves and connect with other people and nature, and just really be in this childlike playfulness spirit. So I think really just getting back to that, watch your favorite childhood movie, relax, go eat some ice cream. I'm not saying if you're on a diet, get off your diet, but don't be so hard on yourself. It's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to have a routine. I'm not saying go haywire and totally go off of that routine, but just think about what you really liked as a kid, and what makes you feel free and what makes you feel loved and cared for, and do those things. If you need more rest, practice it. Of course, your thoughts may pop up and say, oh, I could be doing X, Y, and Z right now. Or, those thoughts are still going to come up, but just be compassionate for those thoughts. Like, you don't have to beat yourself up about the things that you do. And, you can hold yourself accountable without being mean to yourself. We get enough of that in the outside world with other people, places, and things, of people not, being kind and loving. Why do it to yourself? And you can lead us, an example and be a leader by starting with that self-compassion with yourself. Other people will see that. And regardless if they do or not, you're doing it for you. And that's inspiring for other people to just be loving and kind to yourself and be patient with yourself and know that you're human. We have to remember that we're human. We are very complex, and it goes deeper than just being human, but you're here, you're breathing, and that's a part of being quote unquote what we call a human being. But you can't forget the being part. Yeah, we're humans, human beings. So you have to be sometimes, allow yourself to be and be human, and find that balance. It always comes back down to balance. So yeah, definitely take into consideration those things, how you talk to yourself, incorporate in ways where you can really uplift yourself and encourage yourself and love yourself through affirmations, through music, through creativity. Get back to your childlike ways, go ride a bike, get outside, watch a movie, hang out with friends, just do things that really allow you to just relax and be. Because yes, you're a human, but you're a human being. So finding that balance with both. Because of course we have responsibilities, we have things to do in this world, but you can't even take steps and show up and do those things if you're not tending and caring for yourself, So I think a big way is starting with how you talk to yourself. How you talk to yourself is huge. And that is the start of everything, is what you're telling yourself. Other people can tell you stuff. And we kind of create our own voices in our head from what other people tell us or what we see or our childhood. But you can also change that, especially if you're thinking very negative and down about yourself, about life, about other people. It's okay. You're human. But you can also change that. You can also try something different. You can also think positive if you think negative. And you can accept both. You can accept that you have those negative thoughts. You can accept that you have those positive thoughts, and that's just what it is. But once you have this awareness of how you treat yourself, whether it's negative or positive, you can have that awareness, and then you can choose and say, okay, well, how do I want to treat myself? How do I want to treat other people? Positive or negative, I see I may be down and hard on myself sometimes, and I say I may uplift myself sometimes. You can choose what you prefer. If you don't prefer the negativity, the being down, all that extra, you don't have to live that way. I think it's very important to remember that if you are not aware, it's hard to make a choice. But once you see it in your own time, then you can choose what you prefer. But awareness is not something that you have to force. It just happens. But you can practice things like self-compassion and different things, and, writing and focusing on your thoughts and what you're telling yourself or how you're treating other people. You can do these little practices each and every day and become more aware. But really, it's something that's happening through us all in our own timing. And with that, you do have to be compassionate and not be forcing yourself to get it right all the time or not forget. Forgetting is a part of the process of remembering. So you can't always expect yourself to remember and get it quote unquote right. That's also being hard on yourself. It's okay. It's okay. We forget and then we remember, and we forget and we remember. The more you forget, the more you remember. So it works together. So yeah, I don't want to say try your best, but be compassionate with yourself. This is my reminder to just be compassionate in whatever way you know best. It's going to take some learning. It maybe even take some research. How could I be more compassionate with myself? But really just listen to your body, feel into your body, be aware of your thoughts, and through each and every day, pick one thing you want to do that will help you be compassionate with yourself. For me today, I'm going to go take a nap. Because that's something that I don't often do. I'm always on go, 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 go. And feeling like I always need to do something, but I'm gonna be compassionate to my mind, my body, and my spirit, and just lay down, maybe go watch a movie. So that's my challenge for you today, is pick something, today and every day if you can, that'll help you be more compassionate with yourself. And comment below what that is, let me know what that is for you. I hope this episode was so amazing for you. I realized that I have not even sipped my water not one time. Hydrating is being compassionate to my body. Anyways, let me know in the comments below how you're going to be compassionate to you, okay? How you're going to prioritize yourself, because you can't help nobody else if you don't help you first, okay? And yeah, don't forget to subscribe to Transform Perspective, like this video, share with someone who you think needs more compassion in their life, and maybe, need to be more aware about how they treat themselves. Or if you just want to share it. And yeah, comment below. Don't forget about that free 15-minute guided meditation in the description below. It's free. Click on it. Give me your email. It'll be sent to your inbox, and it's free. That's a way that you can be compassionate to yourself. Doing a 15-minute guided meditation where all you have to do is lay back and do nothing. But listen. I'm just saying. And then also, my new business, Relevance, okay? Stay tuned for that. Relevance is a business that I just created, and it's starting with journals. My guided self-reflection journal, okay? That is my first product. It's coming together. I will continue to keep you updated on the latest things and what I'm doing behind the scenes. It's very new for me. If you have any suggestions or want to know more information, feel free to email me, kyrah@relevance.com, and comment below however you feel that you want to contact me and you want to know more about Relevance or this journal. Let me know. But stay tuned, because there is more to come, okay? Remember, it is not about perfection, but committing to expansion. The perfect statement for this episode. Have a transformed perspective.